ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। So today we are entering a new topic, anubhutehe drishyatva anupapattih. The Vishishtaadvaitins say anubhava is separate from atma, and anubhava can also be a drishya. Okay, it can be seen. Now this we cannot accept. Anubhava is the drik swarupa, and whatever is always a drik, a seer, it can never become the seen. The seer can never be the seen. This is the principle we use for even doing atma anatma viveka.
Drisha Viveka.
Yeah. And also Drigdrishya Viveka. The Drigdrishya Viveka only becomes Atma Anatma Viveka because whatever is Drishya is Anatma. Drigeva Natu Drishyam. Like that, even the Drigdrishya Viveka Shloka also says that, correct? So, uh, Rupam, Drishyam, Lochanam, Drik, like that, there is a verses there. And finally, what we say, Drigeva Natu Drishyaha. It is always only a Drik. So that's what he is starting with that statement. Atha anubhutihi na drishya dharmavati drishitvat. Okay, he is presenting it as an anumana here. He is saying anubhuti can never be a vastu with the dharma of drishya. It can never have drishyatvam. Okay, so drishya dharmavati na, that is the sadhya. Why? Because it is drishitvat, because it is a drik. Okay, and what is the drishtanta? Yad drishya dharmavat tan drishihi. Okay, this is the vyapti he is giving. Whatever is the drishya dharma, whatever has drishya dharma, it is never a drik. And the vyatireka drishtanta is given yata ghata iti. So, like even ghata, which is drishya, but it is not a drik, it is jada. And whatever is drik can never become drishya, like ghata. So, it is a vyatireka drishtanta is given. This is the anumana. So, iti idam anumanam kim samichinam uta asamichinam iti ayam amshaha iha vicharyate. So, whether this anumana is proper or not, it is improper, that is now being analyzed here. Okay, in this section, anubhutehe drishyatva anupapattih. So, it cannot be a drishya. That is what we are trying to establish. Now, in this what tatra dvitiya paksham samarthayate Ramanujaha. Ramanujaha says, no, anubhuti is drishya. Okay, this anumana, whatever you have given, is asamichina. It is not proper. So, what do they say? Okay, tathahi. So, in this context, what is he saying? Swa abhyupetaihi pramana siddhaihi nityatva swayam prakashatvadi स्वयं प्रकाशत्वादिभिः धर्मैः अनुभूतिः दृश्य धर्मवती एव. Okay, so now what they are saying, swa abhyupetaihi, whatever pramanas they have accepted, correct? Swa abhyupetaihi pramana siddhaihi, whatever has been established by the pramanas which they accept, what do they say based on that? Nityatva and swayam prakashatva, etc. are all dharmas for them, and based on these dharmas, correct? Swayam prakashatvadibihi dharmaihi anubhutihi. So by all these dharmas, anubhuti is also becoming, because it is the dharmi which is having all these dharmas, like that we can know the anubhuti also. Anubhuti also is a known with all these dharmas. That is their contention. Therefore, it is a drishya dharmavati. So it has dharmas which can be seen, and that means it also is an object of knowledge or cognition. So it is drishya dharmavati eva nacha nityatvaadayaha samvedana matram swarupa bhedat nahi nityatva swayam prakashatva ekatvadinam ekameva samvedanam swarupam iti vaktum shakyate. Okay, another point what he is making is, see, the words are there, nitya, swayam prakasha, etc., eka, etc. Now you are saying all these words are indicating the same thing, because when we say anubhava or anubhuti, it is only samvedana matram, correct? It is only consciousness. It is samvedana matram. Now, within that samvedana matra, you cannot have swarupa bheda, he is saying. Okay? Means you cannot have differences, but you are using different words which have different meanings, correct? Nitya has a different meaning. Swayam Prakasha has a different meaning. Eka has a different meaning. If all these things are there in the Swarupa of one Vastu, how can you say that it is there? Correct? It is all Swarupa Bheda it will become. It's not having the same Swarupa then. So, the Samvedana Matra Swarupa, if you say the Anubhuti is having, in that all these different things cannot be there in one Swarupa. That is his point, okay? So you cannot say them as also Samvedana Swarupam. Then there will be multiple Swarupas for Samvedana. It is not proper. So Samvedanam Swarupam iti vaktum na shakyate iti na etad yuktam. Okay, this is what he says. Now what we are saying, na etad yuktam, this is not proper. Why? Why we are saying? Because even the Nayayikas accept that the guna is not a guni, correct? The guna, for example, or even the Paramanus are there. Paramanus are having only guna as their Surupa, they say. Because they talk about different Paramanus, Prithvi Paramanu, Akasha Paramanu, like that, Mahabhuta and all. For each Mahabhuta, they have a Paramanu for that. At the Paramanu level, there is no Guna Guni Bhava. Whatever Prithivitvam that Paramanu has, that itself is there as the Surupa of that Paramanu. There is no Guna Guni Bhava. Like that, the dharma, guna is basically dharma, correct? So here what Bellangunda is saying is, yo dharmaha yena drishyate satasya dharmaha na bhavati eva. So the dharma which you are talking about, that dharma itself cannot be a dharmi, or you cannot say it further as a dharma. The dharma has only its swarupa with the dharma itself, or the guna. The guna swarupa is that guna alone, even at the paramanu level and all, even the Nayayikas accept. So, yo dharmaha yena drishyate satasya dharmaha na bhavati eva. Okay, here initially what he is saying is, the dharma which you see cannot be the uh, dharma of the one who is seeing it. Okay, for example, so initial argument is giving like that. The argument I said he will give later. We'll come to that. But first what he is saying is, see, you are saying some dharma is being witnessed by somebody. I see white color somewhere. That doesn't become my dharma, correct? So he's saying, yo dharmaha yena drishyate satasya dharmaha na bhavati eva yatha chakshusha drishyamanam rupam na chakshur dharmaha. So what he is saying, the example he is giving is, whatever is seen by the eyes cannot become the quality of that eye itself, correct? Eyes are seeing so many things. So they are all external only. So kintu bahyadehe eva. Okay. So, or vanyadehe eva. So they are all, see, if the eyes are seeing some prakasha or rupa, etc., it belongs to fire, etc. Okay, the objects alone, it is not the dharma of the eye itself. Okay, and further what we say, nahi chakshuhu paragatamiva swagatam dharma jatam pashyati. Like the eyes can see all other colors. Can the eyes see its own color? Means it cannot see. It cannot really objectify its own whatever. itself. The subject and object cannot be the same. Therefore, that's what he is saying. Nahi chakshuhu paragatamiva, like whatever qualities which are there in other objects, it cannot know whatever qualities are there in itself. Swagatam api dharma jatam pashyati. Okay, once we say this, what? But now the Purva Pakshi is saying Devadattaha Swagatam api Shukladi Rupam Staulyadi Dharma Jatam cha pashyati. But he is saying, no, how can you say that Devadatta sees whatever his body's color, correct? He thinks he is fair or he is dark. He even has a complex because of that. Or he thinks he is fat or he is thin, etc. Shukladi Rupam Staulyadi Dharma Jatam cha pashyati. So Devadatta sees his own dharma. Means you cannot say that. Na vachyam. Okay. Why? Tasya deha dharmatvat. Devadatasya dehad bhinnatvat. Whatever is those dharma which Devadatta claims as his own are not really his dharma. It is all only deha dharma. And Devadatta is different from the deha. This point even Dvaitins also say the jiva is different from the body. Understand that. So they also don't claim jiva is the body. So dehad bhinna. So this you cannot claim. Okay, then what? Nacha devadattaha atmagatam sukhadikam pashyati chivachyam. Further he is saying, Devadatta is seeing, but Devadatta does see sukha, etc., which are all atma dharma, they are claiming. Okay, the Nayayikas claim sukha, dukha, etc., are atma dharma, but the Vedantin cannot accept that. Why? Tasya mano dharmatvat devadattasya cha mano bhinnatvat cha. But all these dharmas are all manodharmas. They are not really Atma Dharma. In fact, we have the Brihadaranyaka Shruti, which is quoted by Bhashya everywhere, by Bhashyakara. What is that? Kamaha, Sankalpaha, Vichikitsa, Shraddha, Ashraddha, Dhritihi, Adhritihi, Hirir, Dhir, Bhir, Ityetat Sarvam Manayeva. Like this, in the Brihadaranyaka Shruti, first chapter itself it comes. I think in the fifth Brahmana. So all these things are mind alone for us. And we have the Shruti Pramana to back it. These are all not Atma Dharma, and in fact, they are all known to you also. Whatever is known cannot be the knower of the Dharma of the knower. So, tasya mano dharmatvat devadatasya cha na mano devadatasya cha mano bhinnatvat. So, these are all qualities of the mind, and Devadatta is different from mind also. Okay, so in this manner, what evam swadharmaha svenana vedyate iti stite anubhava dharmatvena Bhavad Abhimata Nityatvadeha Kena Vedyante. Okay, now we are asking. So now this is very clear. Whatever is seen is not the dharma of the seer, and the seer cannot know their own dharma or its own dharma. Correct? Swadharma Svenana Vedyate. Nobody can know their own quality. Okay, it is this has been established. Then Anubhava Dharma you are saying like Nityatvadeha, Nitya Swayam Prakashatva, Ekatva, etc. In your whatever Bhavad Abhimata, in your mata, in your opinion, it is known by whom? Kena Vedyante. Okay, then what? Again, different options. Na tavat svenaiva anubhavena. The anubhava itself cannot know that anubhava dharmas. That will be vyaghata. That is contradictory. We already said that. And na api anyena anubhavena. Okay, here there is a spelling in the printing mistake. It should be anyena, not anena. Anyena anubhavena. It cannot be from by some other anubhava also. Why? Anubhavasya ekatvat. There is only one anubhava. There is no another anubhava to know this anubhava with its dharmas. Okay. Also, what about vijatiya bheda? Anubhavat anyaha. Anya anubhava is swajatiya bheda. But what about Vijatiya Bheda means Napi Anubhavad Anyena, anything other than Anubhava is Jada. It cannot also know. Vijatiya also cannot know. So Tasya Jadatvat, therefore what? Nacha jade napi chakshusha rupam grihyate iti vachyam. So now what he is saying, jade napi chakshusha. See the chakshush which is jada, by but it is seeing the color, okay, or form. Can't we say that? Means no, you can't say it. Why? Chakshusha karanatvena kartritva bhava. Chakshush is only an instrument. It is only karana. This also everybody accepts. So it doesn't have any kartritva. It is only a karana. So don't talk about chakshush seeing the color, etc. Also, what about mind then means? Napi jadena manasa sukhadi grihyate iti vachyam. So you cannot say mind is seeing sukha dukkha, etc. Sukha dukkha are all manovritti. Mind is not seeing it. Mind is again only an instrument where the manovritti takes place, but the vritti has to be shined upon by consciousness. Unless the consciousness manifests in the vritti, nothing can be known. Therefore, but that's why mind is called antakarana, correct? So he is saying tasyapi antakaranattvena kartirtva bhava. Mind is only an antakarana. It is also a karana. It's only an instrument. It is not the karta. It doesn't have any kartirtva by itself. Therefore, what? Nacha anubhavad anyena atmana ajadeneva vedyante nityatvadeha iti vachyam. Okay, now next is what? Anubhavad anyena atmana. Okay, anubhava and atma are different for them. So now he is claiming atma which is other than anubhava, which is not jada. Okay, for them. Atma is still chaitanya dravya or jnana dravya. So atma which is other than anubhava, which is ajada, by that the anubhavas, dharmas are all known. Can't we say that? The nityatvadeha, etc. are known by atma. You means that also na vachyam. You cannot say why. Atmanaha anubhavad ananyatvat. So atma is not separate from anubhava. Atma is anubhava swarupa, anubhuti swarupa. So there are no two things like atma is sitting separately, anubhava is separate, etc. Therefore, whatever you are talking about, that atma will know the anubhava. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Therefore, what? Tasmat yadi nityatvadeha anubhuti dharmaha syuhu tarhi vedyaha na bhavanti eva vedituhu abhava. So finally, what we are establishing, therefore, this nityatvadeha, whatever dharmaha you said, correct? Which are all the dharma of anubhuti, those things, they can never be known. Why? Vedyaha na bhavanti. They are not knowable. Why? Because there is not nobody to know that. There is no knower available to know all these things. Vedituhu abhava. Vedyaha na bhavanti eva. Okay. Then what? Uh, okay. Yadi tu avedyaha api dharmaha ishyante. Okay, now what? Okay, even if it is not Vedya, they are dharma only. I am saying these dharmas are there. If you want to say like that, then what? Karhi shashashringadayaha api ishyanta. Then you have to say shashashringa also has dharma, etc. Some dharmas it is having. How can you say that they are not available for cognition only? It's atyanta asat. Hare's horn cannot have any dharma, or you cannot say that it is having some dharma, etc. So that which is never cognized, you cannot say it is having some dharma, etc. So like that here also, Anubhava does not have a Vedita. It doesn't have an over. Therefore, you cannot establish that it has some dharmas. Therefore, what? Ataha nasti anubhutehe kopi dharmaha. Therefore, what we say? Anubhava cannot have any dharma, any qualities, etc. And whatever these qualities you are saying, what are those things? So he is saying that yetu nityatvadeyaha dharmaha anubhavena vedyante. Okay, te tu na anubhuti dharmaha. So whatever the dharmas we are talking about, nitya, swayam prakasha, etc. and that is known by the anubhava, you are saying. They are not anubhuti dharmaha. Okay. And also what? Napi maya tat karya vastu dharmaha. And they are also not the dharma of maya and its karya, because they are all not really nitya. All these dharmas cannot be there in maya karya and maya itself. Then what is it? Means Kintu anubhuti dharmatvena mayaya kalpitaha eva. They are all imagined, or we have to say they are all shastra adhyaropita. We have to say all these words are used by the shastras to teach you your own swarupa, which is anubhuti swarupa. So they are all maya kalpita. They are all kalpita dharma only. Then only they can be negated also. Correct? Neti neti, neha nanasti kinchana. All these things are astulam, ananuhu, ahrasvam, adirgham. Like that, there are a number of uh, apavada shrutis are there. Correct? It is all adhyaropa apavada. It is all kalpitaha. So they are all only superimposed. Mayaya, anubhuti dharmatvena, mayaya kalpitaha eva, natu paramartataha anubhuti dharmaha. They are not in reality dharma of the anubhutihi or atma. That's what we have to understand. So it is all adhyaropa apavada. We have to be very clear about that. Or we say it is all in vyavahara, we can accept that. But paramartataha, it is not there. Okay, once we say this, what? Now he is coming. Nacha evam yadi paramartataha anubhutihi nitya suprakasha eka cha na bhavati tarhi anitya jada vibhakta cha bhaved iti vachyam. So now what he is saying, if you are saying like this, they are not there really. Means then what? If nitya is not there really, then it will become anitya. He is only thinking in the duality mode, correct? Dvandva. So if it is not really nitya, it will become anitya. If it is not really swayam prakasha, means it will become paraprakasha. If it is not really eka, means then it will be divided into many. Manyness will come. So what are you going to do? Where is your Advaita now? Means na vachyam, you cannot say that. Why? Paramartataha nityatvadi नित्यत्वादिवत् अनित्यत्वादेः अपि अनुभूतौ स्थिति अयोगात्. See, in reality, there is no dvandva in the reality, correct? Nityatva, anityatva, etc. Can only be talked about from the standpoint of Maya. If nityatva is not there in really, anityatva also is not there really in one swarupa. That's what one has to understand. There is no point. It's not like if this is not there, then its opposite will come, etc. That's not the point. Okay. In fact, the pair of opposites itself is not there in reality. That's what we are saying. So if nitya etc. are not there, anitya etc. also are not there, because it is nirguna, it is nirdharmaka. So nirdharmaka hi sa tata hi yadi paramartataha bhasyam vastu स्यात् तर्हि अनुभूतेः भासकत्वं स्यात्. यदि च परमार्थतः कालत्रयं स्यात् तर्हि अनुभूतेः कालत्रय अबाध्यत्वलक्षणं नित्यत्वं स्यात्. यदि परमार्थतः एकत्वादि संख्या स्यात् तर्हि अनुभूतेः एकत्वं स्यात्. व्यवहारतस्तु भास्यादि सत्वात् स्वप्रकाशत्वादि कम anubhutehe bhavati. Okay, now he is beautifully explaining this. What? See, in reality, it is nirdharmaka. Anubhuti is nirdharmaka. Why? Because only, and also what? Whenever we are talking about words like this, it is a bhasaka, it shines, correct? It is a shiner, and it is nitya, it is eka, etc. That is all from the standpoint of Vyavahara, where there is something to be shined on, correct? An object, if it is available, then only the Anubhuti has the status of a subject, correct? If no object is there, the status of subject also is gone. It is no more a subject. In reality, there is no object to be shined on. It is not a shiner or anything like that. Shining itself is only possible in Vyavahara, in Dvaita, because there has to be a shiner and there has to be a shined object. But all these words we are using only to remove your wrong notion, correct? That's why we say it is Lakshanaya. These words, their Vachyartha is not there in Brahman. Okay? It is only indicatory and Paramarthataha. If any vastu is there to be shined on, Bhasyam vastu syat, tarhi anubhutehe bhasakatvam syat. Then Anubhuti can have bhasakatva. But in reality, there is no bhasya vastu itself. All of them are negated by Shruti. Therefore, the status of being a bhasaka also is not there in Anubhutihi. It is nirdharmaka. Similarly, what? Paramarthataha kalatrayam syat. If in reality there is past, present, and future, etc., then you have to point out that Anubhuti or Atma is not subjected to time. Correct? We have to point it out. So we have to say it is Kalatraya Abadhya. It is not negated in all three periods of time. In fact, it transcends time itself. That is what we call Nitya. So Kalatraya Abhadhyatva Lakshanam Nityatvam Sya. Then we can talk about Nitya, because you are wrongly taking yourself as mortal. Anitya, I will die, and all these things. I am born, I will die. But in reality, you can't establish now itself, correct? What is now? There is no unit of now. You can keep on reducing time, second, microsecond, millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond, like that, picosecond. You can go down, but still you will not hit now. What is this now? Now itself you are not able to describe, correct? Now resolves into Atma, in fact. It is only a superimposition on the consciousness, the very now itself. If you cannot establish now, there is no past, there is no future also, because past, future also always is thought about, or it is cognized now. But now itself you are not able to define. Space also same thing. You cannot define what is a point. Point, they say, does not occupy any space. But then a series of point becomes line, and then it becomes three-dimensional space and all that. You can't even define point in mathematics. So there is no space really. It is only a superimposition on Atma. Okay, so time, space and all you cannot establish, really speaking. If you analyze, it vanishes. There is no time, there is no space. Every vastu also, it is the same thing. That's why there is no point talking about solid, liquid, concrete, all these things, positive, negative. Some people have a problem with all these things. Okay. There is nothing solid, liquid, etc. That's all only appearance. That every physicist knows nowadays, correct? At least 200 years back, everybody thought space-time is absolute. And also all these objects should have absolutely some reality and all that. Now there is no absolute reality. Everything, the whole macro world is only an appearance. Space-time is created. But we were only saying that. Upanishad always says that. And even all objects are also only appearance, because Brahman is Sarva Karanam, correct? Brahman is Karanam of everything, all the Pancha Mahabhutas and time. And everything is only an elemental here. Therefore, it all resolves into Brahman. They don't really exist. It's only an appearance in Brahman. There is no reality. That's why even see the beauty. Yadi paramartataha ekatvadi sankhya syat tarhi anubhutehe ekatvam syat. Similarly, sankhya also. We don't even have to say Atma is ekaha and all that. We have to say ekameva advitiyam. We have to say only from the standpoint of the multiplicity of objects. People think that there are many objects really. To negate that, we have to say no, Atma is not many. In fact, is ekameva advitiyam. And all these objects are only appearances in Atma. There is no nanatvam, neha nanasti kinchana. Okay. And in fact, the beauty is even mathematically, mathematicians are not able to define numbers. What is one? They cannot define really. Okay. 1, 2, 3 and all, they are just, it's all only superimposition on again Chaitanya. Because even zero, there is no real zero, correct? Zero is puja for us. Zero, Buddhist says zero is shunya. For us, there is no shunya. Why? Because even if you remove all nama rupa, Chaitanyam is there. That is puja for us. So even mathematically, there is no zero. Zero also is Brahman. Infinite also is Brahman for us. And in between, all the numbers are only, they are all adhyaropa. And mathematicians also cannot define it. In fact, there is a Russell's paradox in this context. You can go and refer to that. So all Sankhya are also Mithya. Desha Kala, all Vastus, Sankhya, everything is Mithya only. They are all false. There is nothing like that. You cannot even arrive at it. If you analyze all these things, everything resolves back only into Brahman. And that is what is pointed out by these words also, Lakshanaya. So there should not be any confusion with reference to all these things. Therefore, what Vyavaharatastu Bhasyadi Satvat Swaprakashatvadi Swaprakashatvadikam Anubhutehe Bhavati. But in Vyavahara, you can say, we have to say that Chaitanyam alone shines. Tame, Tameva Bhati, Anubhati, Sarvam and all that we say, correct? Every day in the temple we say, Natatra Suryo Bhati na Chandra Tarakam, Nema Vidyuto Bhanti Kutoya Magnihi, Tameva Bhantam, Anubhati Sarvam. Tameva Bhantam, Anubhati Sarvam, we have to say, because we have to point out that Atma is not Jada, nor it is Chaitanya in the content like knowing. It is Chaitanya Swarupa, that's why we have to say, that is its very Swarupa. It is not a Guna or Dharma or anything. Anubhuti Swarupa it is. Therefore, from Vyavahara, you can say it is Satchidananda, etc. But even those words, they do not directly indicate Brahman. No word can directly indicate Brahman, correct? That's why Yato Vacho Nivartante Apraapya Manasa Saha. So Brahman cannot be the Vachyartha of any one word, because if it becomes the meaning of any one word, it will become limited by that only. It cannot be Ananta. Then what? But it is the meaning of all words also. Why? Because all words have to indicate an artha which is there, correct? Which is, that isness is Brahman alone. So in every word's meaning, the Sadbuddhi is Brahman. Tad has to be there. Without Sat, there is no meaning for any word. That Sat of that meaning is Brahman. Therefore, in one way we say every word's meaning is Brahman. But Brahman is not the meaning of any one word. That is the beauty. We can say that. Only Vedantins can say that. It may look like contradiction and all that. That's why even the Shruti says, Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. We can say that it is smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest means what? It is not, it doesn't have any parimana. It is beyond all measure. Correct? It transcends all measures. Similarly, it transcends all objects. It transcends all meaning also, meaning of objects. That is the beauty of Brahman. It is not the meaning of any one word, but it is the meaning of all words. That is the beauty here. Therefore, so based on all these things, what do we say finally? So he says, Ataha Darshita Anumanam Samichinam Eva. Whatever Anumana we gave, it is proper. You cannot say it is not proper. Why? Drishyasya yasya kasyapi dharmasya drishau sthiti ayogat iti. So whatever dharma of any object which is drishya, that dharma cannot become the drigs dharma. Correct? It cannot become the dharma of the one who is seeing that, one who is cognizing that. Any quality of a cognized object is the quality of the cognized object. It can never become the quality of the cognizer. This much has to be clear. Once we say this, what? Now they have their Brahmastra. They are coming. Okay, in fact, I wrongly, the answer for this I gave in the beginning itself. Now it is coming. What is that? Nanu drishau drishitvam asti va nava. He is asking now. In the drik, is there a dharma of seeing or not? In the seer, that seerness itself is a dharma, he is saying. Correct? In the cognizer, whatever, the cognition and the cognizer means the cognizerness, the ness of everything they bring in. Drishau drishitvam asti va nava. Now what? Adye drishe nirdharmakata. If it is not there, sorry, adye. If drishitvam is there, if you say, it cannot be nirdharmaka, correct? Because it has the dharma of drishitva. You cannot claim it is nirdharmaka. Okay, dvitiye. If you say no, drishitvam is not there in the drik, means drishitva rahita sa drishihi eva na bhavet. If it cannot have drishitva, it cannot become a drik, he is saying. If it does not have seerness, how can it be seer? It cannot be even a seer. Any seer should have seerness. Any pot should have potness. This is their idea, correct? Pot means pot should have potness. But we have already analyzed this, this so much, correct? If pot is having potness, then what is that pot? No. There is a difference between potness and pot. Then what is that pot? Means that pot has potness or not, if you ask a question. Then it will go into anavastha, chakraka, all these doshas we have seen. Atma ashraya dosha, anyonya ashraya dosha, chakraka dosha. Everything will come. But they still hold on to that. They are saying pot has potness. Potness is separate, pot is separate. But then what is the pot you are talking about if you have removed the potness out of it? Does it have potness or not, means there is a problem. But anyway, he is claiming, if you say that it does not have drishitvam, then it cannot become a drik itself. Okay? This is their argument. Then what? Nahi ghatatvarahitaha gataha bhavati. That's what he is saying. There cannot be a ghata without ghatatvam. There cannot be a pot without potness. Okay. Further, what he is saying? Anyatha ghatatvarahitaha pataha api gataha bhavediti chet. So if you say no, gata can be there without ghatatvam, means what? Then even pata can be a gata. There is no vyavastha, then there cannot be any order. Anything can be anything. Like this, they are raising an objection. Iti chet ma evam. It's not why. What we are saying is vyavahara bhumau dharmaha iti dharmi iti chakim padartha dvayam asti utana. What we are asking is, in the vyavahara, is there not two things, dharma and dharmi? Quality, qualified. Correct? Substance, quality. Like that we can say dravya and guna, guna guni. Bhava is there. Padartha dvaya is there or not? Okay. If I ask this, what adye? If you say padartha dvaya are there, then what we are saying, siddha meva nirdharmakam vastu. If you accept two things in vyavahara, then nirdharmaka vastu you have to accept. Why? Because dharma yoga, dharma cannot have more dharma, correct? Quality itself cannot have quality. This is the context in which I also said about the paramanu having only guna. Paramanu, in the paramanu there is no guna guni bhava. Even the nayayikas accept that. At the paramanu level, they are just guna. Their swarupa itself is that guna. Like I said, if there is a prithvi paramanu, it has prithivitvam. That's it. It is prithivitvam itself. There is no guni separately there. Okay. That comes only later on in their Siddhanta also. So dharme dharma yoga. A quality cannot have another quality. So it is nirdharmaka. यदि धर्मे अपि धर्मान्तरम् अस्ति तर्हि स धर्मी एव स्यात् न तु धर्मः इति. So if you say no, dharma also has another dharma, means then it will become dharmi, correct? It cannot be a dharma. Quality also has another quality, means it becomes qualified. It is no more only a quality, it is now a qualified. It is not a quality. Or it is a guni, it cannot be a guna. Guna also has another guna means. It will become a guni. Therefore, what yata evam dharmaha dharmatvarupa dharma rahitaha siddhaha. So like even dharma is now established as that which does not have dharma, correct? It does not have dharmatva rupa dharma, etc. Dharma doesn't have dharmatva rupa dharma. Even you people accept that in Vyavahara. Because all these guys go along with the Nayayikas only here. Similarly, I am saying tata drishihi api drishitva rupa dharma rahita eva siddha iti. So drishi also, you cannot go and hair split there. If drik I say, whether it has the drishitva dharma or not, you cannot ask. Drik is drik alone, drik swarupa. The drishitva is the very swarupa of the drik. There is no guna guni or dharma dharmi bhava there. You cannot hair split there. You guys also cannot hair split. You yourself accept. Correct? So drishihi api drishitva rupa dharma rahita eva siddha iti. So it is siddha. Okay, this is the first option. If you accept two things, dharma and dharmi. If you don't accept padartha dvaya, dvitiye, ayam dharmaha, ayam dharmi iti vyavaharasya eva lopa prasangaha. If you don't accept, then you cannot make any vyavahara that this is dharma, this is separately dharmi, etc. If there is no difference between them, all the vyavahara you talk about cannot be there. In fact, which is okay for us. For us, it is vishta. In reality, there is no dharma and dharmi. We will welcome if you say that. Okay? Therefore, what? Tasmat nirdharmika निर्धर्मिकायां दृशौ यः कोऽपि धर्मः स्यात् तु न अर्हति स्थातुं न अर्हति एव धर्मः स्थातुं न अर्हति एव. Therefore, what we are saying, the whatever drik which is nirdharmika, which is without any dharma, etc., the drik swarupa, on that you cannot put any dharma. It's not tenable, correct? It is not proper to just foist a quality on that which is drik swarupa, which is free of all dharmas or all qualities. On that you cannot foist. Just because you have some agenda, you have already decided certain things and then you are force fitting everything. You cannot do that. Okay. Once we say this, what? Now in fact, he starts a very big, Puru Pakshi is talking a lot here. Nanu jnane prakashaha iti kaschana dharmaha asti, etc. In fact, we'll see this in the next class. The Purva Pakshi now talks a lot, this entire thing. In fact, the Siddhanta of the Vishishtadvaitins, they are explaining how they are saying that Anubhava has Dharma, etc. Starting here up to this Ma Evam, this is the big thing. We'll see this in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.